Hey everyone, this week we're doing a POV woodland walk as I do some landscape photography. So I've done a couple of videos recently in a POV, that's point of view style, and that's me walking around with the GoPro attached to my chest and you can see what I can see. So I've done a bird photography one and also a street photography one, and this is kind of completing the trilogy where I'm out doing some woodland landscape photography. I'm back now from the trip, but let's rewind back in time where I'm at Padley Gorge, a favourite location of the channel, and I'm getting that autumn woodland landscape. Okay, so here I am, just leaving the van. As you can see, it's well before sunrise, quite dark. You should just be able to see the back of the camera there though. That's the good thing about having the mirrorless camera. It allows you to see the exposure settings on the back of the screen. So even when it's dark, you can still kind of see what you're shooting. It's starting to get a little bit brighter now. And I've just stopped in front of this tree. You just can't see it at the moment, it's just on the left. And there's a millstone just on the ground in front of that. And because I want to capture the millstone in the shot, I'm swapping to the 14 to 30mm wide angle. Just swapping that over there. So just got it in portrait orientation. I thought that would make the best shot. And as you can see, it's a long exposure, 13 seconds, but I needed that because it was so dark. But it's come out great considering how dark it was. Would have been nice with some fog. As you can see, it's not very foggy, didn't get lucky with that. Even though I drove through fog on the way here and through fog on the way back, there was none at Padley Gorge itself. Just swapping back to the 24 to 200mm now. I know that I'm mainly going to be using that when I'm walking around later. So just pack up the tripod and we'll carry on. There's been a lot of rain recently, it's quite muddy, but that made the river in the gorge really fastly flowing. There's a lot of water coming down there, so that's going to be good for some shots. I thought it was quite nice with the colours of the trees and the water there, so I was just trying to line up a shot here. Didn't want too much of the sky, so I've got quite low. Just trying to get a composition with the water flowing there down the little waterfall and the really nice golden yellow colours of the tree on the right. Here I am just putting on the polarising filter, just giving it a little clean, popping it on the front there, and that's really good for woodland. Just takes the glare off of leaves and rocks and things like that, particularly when it's been raining and it's quite wet. It can really just make your scene look a lot richer. It really brings out those nice autumn colours. So the shot before wasn't really working, so I've come a little bit closer, down to the water's edge, looking up the river. I'm just composing a scene here. You can see on the back of the camera the kind of shot I'm going for. And that shot did come out okay, but I didn't think it was really good, so I haven't put that one in the video. Just quickly headed on, because I know I'm going to get some better shots a bit further down the gorge. So just crossing over a little stream here. You don't really have to do this, to be honest. You can go up to the road and go around, but I'm all up for adventure. It feels like being in the nature a little bit more than going up on the road. Yeah, we're over the little stream, back up the other side. See just how much water is coming down through the gorge there. Some really great fast flowing water. So I'm just looking for a spot down here to capture a good image. Some great colours in the trees there. It's a little bit more open down here, so a bit more sunlight comes down onto those trees. A lot of the gorge is under shade and you've still got a lot of greens, but you find these areas where you've got the greens but also the orange leaves and then the yellow leaves on the trees, and you've just got so many colours plus the blues in the water. You don't always need that fog, and you've got so many great colours to help compose your images. I've just found this little spot here, and I've got options in both directions here. I'm starting off just by looking up the gorge here, with the water coming towards me. Just get that set up and just adjust the polarising filter there, so I've got the glare being reduced on the rocks. And I'm at 24mm f9 ISO 800, and that's giving me a shutter speed of 1 second, and I found that was just enough to get some nice texture in the water. You don't need an ND filter really for doing these kinds of shots when you're in low light anyway in the woods and you've got a polarising filter. It's all you need, and you probably don't need more than a second or two to get some nice texture in the water. So I've swapped it around now, pointing the other direction with the water moving away from me, and I'm trying to compose a scene where the water is creating a leading line into the image. Just decided the portrait was a little bit better for this, and I think this one turns out fairly well. As you can see, I'm focus stacking this because that little bit of grass at the bottom there in the foreground, that would be out of focus, or if it was in focus the rest of the image would be out of focus. So I did focus stack this, and I do like the texture in the water and that leading line it creates. So heading away from this area now, up these little stairs. It's quite convenient. Look at all these great colours, really nice yellows there in the trees, and I did spot a nice little scene just with some contrast between the branches of the trees, those great gnarly twisted branches with the yellow leaves as a background, and I thought just getting tight with the 24 to 200mm at 84mm, and I probably could have done with a slightly faster shutter speed for that one because there was a little bit of movement in the leaves and it softened the image a little bit, but I was still fairly happy with that one. So coming a little bit lower into the gorge now, you see just how much green there still is, but that really, like I said, really does add to the range of colours that you get. Got those great mossy rocks, and here you can't really see the image from here, but I've spotted a shot which will look great when I'm using the telephoto lens. So going into portrait format, and I want to get these nice mossy rocks in the foreground, zooming in, so I've got the oranges over the leaves on the ground, the yellows in the background, and there's no sky because I'm using the telephoto lens there to compress the scene. It means I don't have to capture any of that sky. And you see we've got a really nice dense image there. I have stacked this again so that we do get that front to back sharpness, but using that telephoto lens really does help to compress the scene, and you get that really dense look with all the foliage, and you don't get any of that empty blank sky. So I'm heading back out of the gorge now. It was a fairly good morning. Like I said, no fog, but you don't always need it. There's more to woodland photography than having it all foggy and atmospheric, and there's always something to photograph down at Padley Gorge. Did get a little shot here but I haven't put that one in the video. And just leaving now and back to the van. All in all, a really good morning. I always love a trip to Padley Gorge. It's great at any time of year, but it's especially good in autumn when you've got those fantastic colours. I've made the colours in my images a little bit more saturated than usual. I tend to try and keep them a little bit more subtle, but when you've got colours as good as this, you've really got to emphasise them. So yeah, just made the most of those this time. It's a shame I didn't get the foggy conditions, but like I said, you don't always need those for woodland photography, and at Padley Gorge you can get great images year round. So massive thanks for watching this one. There are just a few more shots to show you, so I'll put those on screen now. And that is it for this one, so a huge thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot that you support the channel each and every week, and it spurs me on to go out and do more videos and keep posting them each week. If you are new to the channel and you're not yet subscribed and you'd like to do so, you can just click down there on the big red button, or over here on this picture of me, and that way you'll stay up to date with all those things that I am doing when I go out every week. There's a new video every Sunday morning at 10 AM UK time. So I hope you'll join me next week for the next one, but until then, thanks a lot everyone, and bye for now.